Right, first update for a while. Just here at Arrival Bangkok. Doing a couple of presentations, and one is kind of a summary on where we are to date. So I wanted to do a quick kind of summary of that summary. Do my presentation on the way to Bangkok. I was on a plane actually from Delhi to Kolkata, writing all about AI, and then I spent the day in Kolkata, and it's just funny the contrast between sitting writing how AI is going to change everyone's life immediately and then spending the day walking around Kolkata where it's difficult to see AI changing anything anytime soon. But I don't live there. I live in USA, and things are changing there rapidly, and it's not going to stop. So I've got a quick sort of 10-point summary on where we are to date, especially in the travel industry. Number one, LLMs, large language models, using this next token autocomplete that came out in November with ChatGPT. So we're sort of with the big ones now. So ChatGPT is still the clear leader. I think most people would agree. Google and Google's Bard is now out. Everyone's got access to that. It's playing catch up. It's pretty good. And then you've got others such as Anthropic, Stable Diffusion, and a few others. Some you can now download to your desktop, for your laptop, if you want that. But I think we're going to end up with a handful of these big players. GPT-4 is the latest that comes out. That came out. It's quite a big step up from 3.5. They have no plans for GPT-5 right now. They say they're not training right now, which means they're kind of fine-tuning and just improving the core model, which I think is going to be the case for a while, it sounds like. Number two, context window. So context window is the size of a prompt. So when you ask a question and get a response back, you add those two together. That's the context window. Now, when this first came out, it appeared as if it was going to be quite small. So this is the memory. So large language models have no memory. So every time you ask a question, it acts like it's never met you. When you're on the chatbot like ChatGPT, it's the same, but you think it remembers what you're saying because each time you send another prompt, it sends a summary of what you asked previously. So it's kind of a hack so that you think you're having a conversation. But all these large language models, they don't remember your last conversation with them. Context windows are small. They've been small. They started out at a couple thousand tokens, which is about 1,500 words, which is not a lot. But Anthropic came out a few weeks ago with 100,000 token context window. That's a 75,000 words approximately, which is a book. It's an average book, which does change everything really. If you can get a memory that big, it enables you just to do a lot more things. You do so water down the quality when you send that much stuff in at one time. But I think the fact that they can do it is significant, and that's going to really change how these things develop over time. It didn't sound like ChatGPT were going to be able to do that or wanted to do that, but it looks like they are going to move down that. So we're going to have a lot bigger area, which means you could submit things like company manuals and company documents and legal docs and that kind of thing without having to go to third-party tools. Not that the third-party tools are a big deal, but this context window in one prompt is quite important. Number three, hallucinations. I think everyone knows about this. It makes things up. It does, and there doesn't seem to be a really good solution because of the way it works. It's the best response. It's probability. It's given its best answer. Well, if it doesn't have a good answer, it makes things up. It knows it's not quite as good, but it makes it up, and it sounds confident while it's doing that. None of the people that I listen to seem to have a good answer that's going to go away. There's going to be workarounds to kind of fix it, but it's not going to go away just because of the fundamentals and how it works. So that's a problem. That's the biggest problem, without doubt. Number four, a couple of ways to sort of fix this. Plugins. Plugins is a fact layer. So I don't know how many there are now, but ChatGPT came out with plugins maybe 2 months ago now. And you can ask a question in ChatGPT, and if you've got the plugin installed or selected, it goes out and it asks that. So you can ask a question about hotels in Hawaii, and it'll go out to Kayak or Expedia as an example. They don't really work because they're either asking the large language model itself, or they flip to Expedia, then it flips to Kayak, and you don't get continuity. And you also don't get the information you expected from the model if you're querying Expedia. It gives you kind of things like a list of hotels, which you could just as well do on Expedia.com. That's the problem with plugins. Sam Altman of ChatGPT of OpenAI says it's not the future. Nobody's using them because they don't really work. But I do salute the companies who build plugins because they're learning and they're learning how these things work. But it's the fact layer that will stick around. Maybe just not the way plugins are working today. Number 5, just sort of GPT API access. So most companies, I believe, that are building today, and there's a lot of companies building today, are using OpenAI's GPT. It was the first one to come out. It's still the best. Everyone's building on that API. Yes, you can switch. You need a good reason to switch. And I think the more and more companies that build on that, the stronger position OpenAI is going to be. Google announced a lot of tools at their recent product update a couple of weeks ago. Most of those tools are coming, but they still haven't got full API access for Bard. So currently today, most people, it looks like, are building on OpenAI GPT, which means they're learning the fastest and they're going to probably stay ahead for a while, I imagine. The things people are building, that tools, content tools, there's a million of them. Write emails, write blog posts, write social posts. There are a dime a dozen. Some of them are great. Lots of people building chatbots. Chatbots are fantastic. A huge step up on previous chatbots, except the hallucination problem, which is a big problem with chatbots, because often that scenario, you can't have it making things up. Travel is obviously very important. Things like missing flights is not good, but in other industries, maybe medical, it's even more critical. So you can't take the gamble of having hallucinations in a chatbot. That's a problem. And then the third sort of area is search. It's so easy to build a new type of search for things like travel using GPT, because you get the proper context of the type of search. So gone are the filters, gone are the previous data about the type of traveler we are, I think. And these complex, what will be probably voice searches mostly, are going to be a much better way to find what we're looking for. Number 6, AutoGPT. This came out maybe 2 months ago. AutoGPT is when you've got 2 or more large language models speaking to each other. So it's AI, it's artificial intelligence without the humans. This is definitely the future. AutoGPT and where it is today is not. It kind of gets caught in loops, but what you can do is give it a goal. So my goal is to be the biggest hotel company in the world. Go. And it works out a plan. It writes a strategy. It starts asking itself, is this a good idea? And it starts writing tasks. And it goes back and forth, questions itself, and then starts writing code to do those tasks. It can write code, can use computer software if it has credentials and logins. It can do most things on a computer, and it doesn't need humans. It can stop and ask humans if you want it to, every few tasks or every few minutes or hours or days if you want, but otherwise you can let it run and it will just complete tasks. This is where we're going. It's going to take over a lot of areas and a lot of companies, especially things like sales and sales leads. You can just let it go, find its own leads, reach out to those leads, reach out with a great sales response. It can do a lot of tasks in that space. Definitely the future. The way it is right now, it's not, but that's coming, and I'm sure there's a lot of companies building in that space. Kind of linked to that a little bit. Number 7 is agents. Again, I think we're definitely having agents. Agents are a thing of the future. Agents are going to sit on our phone. Maybe they're not sit on the phone, but they're going to be accessible through our phone. They're going to know what we as humans want, what we tell them we want. We each have goals, personal goals, and goals in work and health, etc. And our agents will talk to other agents or other software. So if I've got some goals to do with travel, I want to go to certain places, my agent can reach out and search that for me and talk to other agents and come back with the results that are relevant to me, and I'll keep training my agent to give me the kind of information that I want in the format that I want it, that's personalized. It's exactly personalized for me at the time. Not me, my average previous life, but me today, because I can just tweak it with a quick voice response. Agents are coming. They're going to take over business, personal, lots of places. I think agents and chat and AutoGPT are the biggest kind of places this goes to in the future. I don't know. I'm guessing. Just a quick thing on media and images and Images and videos, number 8. Images are fantastic. They're not great for travel products, for creating photos and stuff like that right now. They will be very soon. For editing photos, they're fantastic. That's already live. Adobe's got products there. Google's got products. Video's happening. It's quite difficult still, but it's moving so quickly that we'll be making full movies before too long. And fantastic quality. We've got an election in the US in 18 months. We're in huge trouble because we're not going to have any idea what was real and what was not. Images or video are going to be mass produced with all kinds of fake information. So that's coming. Not looking forward to that at all, but that's where we're going to be. But I think images and video creation in the future in travel will be accessible and important. Number 9, just the players. It looks like we're going to end up with the large players each with their own large language model. So we've got OpenAI, which is kind of Microsoft. Bing is using OpenAI's GPT-4. Google's got all kinds of releases, all kinds of products coming out. Facebook's got their own. It's not released to the public yet. Apple, I don't know, they did an announcement last week with VR, and they announced they've got some autocomplete tools to do with texting or something, which is nice. I'm not sure what Apple are playing at. Amazon, we haven't heard anything much yet, but I'm sure they're all going to come out with their own models, and all will be jumping on this. Some are open source, some are closed source. Some people say that open source is going to move faster because you got more people working on it. Some people say the closed is because you can control it and you can spend more money with investor money. We'll have to see where that plays out. Number 10, the future. This is all kind of future. I don't know the future any more than anybody else does, but I think AI, it's just going to become incorporated into everything we do. So it'll be less, is this an AI tool or not? It'll just be accepted that everything we do digitally will have a piece of AI in it. So whether we're on Gmail or a Google Doc or a Word doc or Photoshop, it's just going to have AI incorporated. And I think we're going to stop noticing what's AI and what's not, which maybe is really dangerous. And these agents as well, it's not much different to asking a question today of a website. It's just that our agent is going to have more context and is going to know a bit more about what we're trying to do, so we won't have to keep reminding it each time what our goals are here. So I think it's just going to become more incorporated into everything we do. It's going to definitely make everyone more efficient. It's definitely something everyone needs to pay attention to. As I've been saying now for 7 months, it's not going away. It's only going to get faster from here. That's all I got. I'm doing a presentation today and tomorrow at Arrival on AI, so looking forward to that. And I'll do an update. I think my next update is going to be on personalization, because that's an interesting space and it's very relevant to travel. I think previous personalization data is out the window and worthless, and personalization now is all about agents going forward. So I'll do an update on that soon. I've gone over by 3 minutes. That's it for today. Thanks for listening.